You may have heard of the mysterious phenomenon known as below market value property. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how you can buy below market value property, what even below market value property is, and how we're getting below market value properties week in, week out. And we're going to share some insider secrets in exactly how you can do exactly the same. So if that sounds of interest to you, then watch the rest of this video. I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how we buy properties like this, and this. Then you can buy even more properties with accelerated purchase power using this exact strategy. So if that's of interest, then keep watching the rest of this video. Number one on the agenda is, what is below market value? Well, below market value to me is when obviously a property is under the current market value. But how do you know what the market value is in the first place? Now that's the key thing you need to look at. We see this property, it pops up on the market and it's £70,000, it's a 3-bedroom house. You might say instantly, oh, this is a below market value property, because 3 properties have just recently sold for 100,000 and they're 3 beds and they're quite comparable to this. And obviously these are the strongest comparables you're going to get. Properties are sold on the same street, roughly the same size. That's a really strong comparable. Now, this could be the strongest thing to say that, okay, this is below market value. One is where you need to renovate the property to get it up to the market standard, and then say, for example, this is a 70 grand property, it's going to cost you 30 grand. You're basically not making much money. So there are levels of payoff that you can get for buying below market value, and that's really what you need to look at. Or the ideal situation would be if somebody needed to sell quickly. These are motivated sellers, and then you need to look at them in a bit different reasons. But for example, somebody could be needing to relocate quickly because they're moving to America for a new job. The property is in perfect condition, it's up to the standard that we're finding those 3 others at the market value. But this person needs to sell quickly, so they've dropped the price in order to move on quickly. This, to me, is the best kind of below market value property you can get. Then you've got it 30 grand below market value. You've instantly locked in profit on day one because the condition to the other properties is exactly the same. And that's the free and clear below market value property. But the most that you're going to find in most cases is properties where you're looking on the market. Now, the problem with looking on the market is that you're competing with absolutely everybody else when you're looking for these below market value deals. You're going to establish how much the area is and how much is below market value, but you don't really know the situation of the seller. It's not open to you. So how do you know if there's a real motivation there to sell? So for example, the only way you can really find out is when there's a visual example, and that's when a property is below market value because of the renovations needed. So when we look at it that way, the renovations needed is going to be the kind of visual example of how we know when a property is going to be below market value. But in this market, to be honest, I've seen properties going for the market value when they need 20, 30 grand renovation on them. It's just unbelievable and it doesn't make sense. But let's say that that's a clear visual example as to why you can buy it below market value. Whereas you're not going to share the seller's relocated and needs to move quickly, or the seller's in severe debt, so they need to move quickly, and actually they'd accept 20 grand below what we've got it up for currently. An agent isn't going to tell you that because obviously in their interest, they want to make their commissions. So they're not going to say, oh yeah, you could knock it down and say that you get it for 20 if you want to buy it quickly. But that's the case. You need to just think about that. So in most cases, when you look at it, below market value on leveling degrees is probably the thing to look at it. So what is below market value? That's my answer right there. So now that we understand what a motivated seller is, we need to look at the motivated seller's profile. So we need to look at if they are in severe debt, are they looking to relocate? Is there been a death in the family and the property's in probate? Is it a relocation? Or is it possibly a divorce? Maybe its property needs severe levels of renovation. Maybe it's only little renovation, but they haven't got the money to do it. And when it's a combination of they haven't got the money and the funds to do it, and there's renovation works needed. So you look at these profiles and we can see that there's different categories of different sellers, and there can be a mixture of all of these profiles in one. But what makes them really stand out is what you need to do in order to talk to these people. Now, You're not really going to do this on the market because you can't get directly to the person. This is why going directly to the vendor or directly to the person selling the house is probably the best option. And this is one of the inside secrets. The best way to negotiate the best deals is to talk to the person directly. And this is typically why going through an agent isn't the best place to go and get below market value deals. Now, you need to be talking directly to the vendor so that you can understand their situation, really understand what things are the pressures to them and the reasons as to why they're looking to sell it below market value. There could be a myriad of reasons, but these are the profiles that I've given examples to, and I think that they're most common that you're going to come across. Now, if you need something like a heavy renovation, then that could be a perfect one. As I said, it's visual and you may be able to get it through an agent. This might be something that you might really want to look at, and it's the most easiest kind of properties to find is when they need a heavy renovation, because obviously you can see when you go on Rightmove or Zoopla or whatever it is, you're going to see, okay, this needs a lot of work. Probates a bit easier to see as well, so really aged properties as well, looking at those. Typically they're going to have green carpets or something like that. They're going to have old furniture, you know, the typical stuff that you'd find in your grandmother's house. Those are usually the ones, because elderly people passed away. That is kind of the typical thing that you're going to see, and there's going to be a lot of those. I usually see them. They might have handrails going up the side of the stairs and all things like that, because of, you know, the disability access, and shower handles and things like that. So you might be refitted for somebody who's elderly. Those are kind of some visual signs that you can find when you're looking for properties, and specifically at that age, usually the people who are at homes, they usually probably passed away before they've gone to a home at that point if they're on the market. That's what we typically find anyway. So that's kind of the key factors that you can see in that regard. When somebody's looking to relocate, and if they're going through debt, divorce, not so easy to do, and the best way obviously is direct to vendor. Now you might be wondering then, how do you get to these people? What kind of ways are you going to find these direct to vendor, or we could call them direct to vendor leads? I'm going to share with that, but those are the reasons as to why people would be looking to sell. So you can basically profile and characterize them to get your understanding of how you're going to be able to talk to these people and what solutions you can provide to them. So we're going to look at some more traditional methods, and if you are advertising, this is the way to do it. So if you're going to look at potentially leaflets, is the old school method then. So if you're looking at leaflets, you could look at putting out maybe 4,000 leaflets going out, and then you're looking at your response rate. So 4,000 leaflets going out, that's going to be touch point that you can get. I know a prolific company in South Wales that does unbelievable amounts of leaflet dropping at a mass scale, and that has worked really well for them. They've been doing it for quite a long time. They even put it into print publications, so local magazines and things like that. Those could be a way that you could go, and that could be a route. But for me, when I have a background in online marketing, and that has been the best thing for us. So we're looking at advertising online, particularly Facebook and Instagram ads, because that's my background. So that's been a particularly good one for us. Another way, if you are searching on the market, one of the strategies that we used for, I believe it's the last property that we had on the video, is that we used Purple Bricks. They have an interface on there where you can just put your offer in directly. So you can just negotiate in that platform without the agent being involved. You can have a clear communication, and you could just go through it that way. And that could be the way to negotiate a below market value deal. So if you are looking, go on Purple Bricks. There's an option for offer now. Go through that interface, and then you can put your offers in straight away, even without seeing the property, which is what's working for us at the moment. When you are scouring the internet, and specifically on Rightmove, Zoopla, and all these kind of things, but specifically what we look at is on Rightmove, you can see what properties have gone on the market and then got reduced. So if you look at that, you can see which ones have been reduced recently, so you get a notification telling you. So I always set up my alerts. Now, setting up your alerts on Rightmove is so important for us, and speed is everything. So I set up the right alerts so that I can get the best properties instantly, because I can get to them quicker than other people, because I just see the email when it instantly comes in, and I'll go and make an offer on the property or get a viewing booked straight away. So that's one way of doing it. And when your reduced ones come up, so if a property's been on the market, then got reduced at some point, it then gets pushed back out in the notifications to tell people it's reduced it, and bumps up as a new listing in itself. And that is another way that you can get into those properties. So if you can see that the property's been reduced, then that can be a way of seeing if it's reduced for below market value reasons and it's below the market value, or it's just that they've overpriced it. A lot of the cases, to be honest, they've just overpriced it and really, gone out of what the market value is and over. So when it gets reduced, it starts coming down to the market value. But you might be lucky. It might be somebody that is purely motivated and going from the motivated seller profiles. They need to sell quickly, therefore they start dropping the price, and that could be the reason for you to get in and look at that property and make an offer straight away. If you also have a look, there's going to be a link in the description where I'm going to show you the property tracker app. It's a Chrome extension which then tells you what properties have been reduced and how many times. So it's got a little indication. It's either got red for going up, which means that the property's actually gone up in values for some strange reason. Some people put properties on the market, then they put them up. And then there's also the green, which means that they've gone down in value. Those are the positive ones, the ones that we're looking for. So we can see how many times they've actually dropped in value. And if you can see that it's dropped multiple times, usually those ones are the ones that are overpriced. But you might be lucky, they might be a below market value seller, and that could be something for you to go and grab a booking straight away, so that you can go and view the property and put in your offer. Last but not least is make relationships with estate agents. Now, this in itself is quite an elusive strategy, because once you get in with the estate agents, then you can start getting off-market deals quite consistently. And I know people who've built entire businesses off of the back of building relationships with estate agents. But if you can do it, and if you can crack it, then you can be one of the people who reap the benefits. So when you build relationship with agents, then that is the key thing, because what you're doing is you're knowing how you can help them. You've got to look at how you can add value to the agent. And the way to do that is if you're looking for things like chain breaks. How do you position yourself to be the person that comes in when chain breaks? So a chain break is when a property has gone on the market, it's been offer accepted, it's gone possibly to legals at that point, and then broken down in the chain because somebody couldn't get a mortgage or whatever reason. And to be honest, there's 1 in 3 properties at the moment. This is the exact thing that's happening. So there's a chain break and it's gone off the market and come back on. If that happens, then you can position yourself as a chain break saver. Another reason is because you know that the property is tenanted. So an agent might go that they want to sell the property to you because the property is currently tenanted. And who's going to buy a tenanted property? That are investors. So you are one of those investors, and they might put you at the top of the pile if you'll buy tenanted property. Tenanted property is usually going to be a bit harder to sell because the only people who are going to buy them is investors. So if only investors are going to do it, it's only between you and other investors, as opposed to the rest of the market, people buying it for first-time buyers and all sorts of stuff like that. You're not in that division of people, so it might be somewhere you win. So building a relationship with agents is another topic in itself, but those are just some of the reasons why you can add value to estate agents and start building a relationship. If you want to build a good relationship with estate agents, to be honest, the best way to do it is to go on lots of viewings. Go on lots of viewings with different agents, start building rapport. Even if it's not about property, you can start talking about property and what they do and really show interest to them. The idea is that you've got to act a bit more beta to them. They are the leader, they're the person in charge. So you're basically in kind of awe of their expertise, which you should be, because they're going to sell and buy and sell a lot more properties than you are. You ever will, probably, an estate agent. So they're going to have a lot of knowledge. They're going to have really area specific knowledge, and if you can just talk to them about those things, the things that they know about, then you can then really build a relationship with them, because you're showing that you really take an interest in what they do. The other thing is that you could talk about anything else. You might build really good rapport with them, because they like football, or they like tennis or golf or whatever it is. It could be a sport, it could be your favorite TV program, whatever it is. Just build a relationship the natural way that you build other human relationships, because at the end of the day, estate agents are people, and they're not people to be afraid of. They're just people like you and me. So start building relationships. Even ask them out for a coffee. It could be obviously established that you're a business person. Say that, oh, it'd be great to grab a coffee, and it's, you know, it's on you obviously, and that can be the way that you could then start building a relationship. Grab a coffee with them, chat about their business, see if there are other ways that you can help them. Is there things like people looking for renting out property and they're a letting agent? Then you could recommend them, and that would then get you in with them because you've done them a favor and you've given them business, so you've referred someone to them. That could be another way. Another way is by buying property and then renting it with them. So letting out your property with them, that's an instant way that they've got a reason to check in with you, because you're one of their landlords that are on their books. So they might then come to you with deals because you're somebody who's paying them week in, week out, month in, month out. That's my top tips for building relationships with estate agents as well, to get below market value deals. I hope this is demystifying how to buy below market value properties for you. We talked about what below market value properties are, how you can find them, the exact strategies we're using to get below market value properties. And if that has been any use to you, please like, comment and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you get notified when new videos like this come out, and I hope that I can see you on the next video. But before you do, comment below. Let me know if you've had value from this video, but most importantly, let me know if you have any questions about below market value deals. I'm hoping to do more videos on this, and it'd be great to know what kind of insight you need for future videos, and I'll see you on the next one.